The spine of Malatros' unique sword spawns flame whips from the Chthonic Fissure skill, and ever since I came across this sword in Season 1, I've always wanted to do a build with it. The only issue was that the Flame Whip spell was quite weak in Season 1, but in Season 2 Flame Whip got majorly buffed, and I thought to myself that the time had now come to finally try it out. So I took my level 100 Lich, turned her into a Warlock, spec'd into some Warlock stuff and got rolling. Now the first thing I obviously had to do was to acquire the Sword of Malatros itself. Without it there shall be no Flame Whips, and as the Circle of Fortune fan I am, I poured myself a well-earned glass of water and had a blast buying unique two-handed sword prophecies. And the sword was no match to come by. It is a very common drop and has almost a 15% chance to come from a Rune of Ascendance, so no issues there. I equipped the sword and jumped straight into my first 158 Corruption Echo, and at this stage it was all chaos, no plan, just testing whatever combos crossed my mind. My memory here is a bit blurry, but evidently I spec'd into a brilliant, or not, combo of Skeleton, Sacrifice and Infernal Shade. To side Gandalf and Moria,
I have no memory of this place.
Anyway, I ran this setup for some time before I eventually came to my senses and tried something else. I switched Sacrifice with Profane Veil and Skeletons with Bone Curse. It didn't change much though, the damage was really lackluster. I played this for a while before panicking and started pondering just going with the Lich's Scorn Gloves to make it into an Infernal Shade build. But even that didn't fix one of the core problems. The crit chance was really lacking, and I tried speccing into more base crit chance on my gear. I swapped Bone Curse and Infernal Shade with Chaos Bolts and Harvest, where my idea was that Chaos Bolts would trigger Harvest, which in turn would give me a 100% increased crit chance. The damage was steadily rising, and so was the corruption, but I hit a plateau at 373 corruption. The clear speed was insanely slow, and the single target damage embarrassing. It was so bad that I had to go back to 100 corruption to feel somewhat like a decent human being again. And now the damage felt nice, but I knew deep inside I was fooling myself. I was nowhere near having a successful build. Do you like this video so far? Feel free to click the thumbs up like button and subscribe to stay tuned for the final build get video. It was pure chaos. The skills, the passives, the gear, everything was all over the place. I tried everything. I turned every page of ancient books to find the answer. I was so desperate I even spec'd into the Zombie plus Infernal Shade combo that had carried me before. But even my proven ideas felt weak. I was far off. Beaten. At my lowest. That night I couldn't sleep. I was filled with a combo of self-doubt and self-loathing, and the world around me felt quiet. Too quiet. My flame whips flickered like dying candles, like they did it on purpose just to prove a point about my weak crits. Even the zombies seemed embarrassed for me, and they only had one sound in the repertoire. So I did what any warlock does in a crisis. I wandered, aimlessly, through mountains, through tubes, through whatever echo would let me in without judging my DPS. And that's when I found it. Not an item, not a prophecy, but a memory, buried deep in the tombs of Eterra, as if the world itself was trying to tell me something. A vision of Malatros, the old flame caller himself, standing amidst scorched earth and charred stone, his sword glowing, not with rage, but with rhythm, precision, timing. He wasn't swinging wildly, he wasn't spamming, he was smoothly flowing, directing, guiding the flame with purpose. And suddenly I knew. My problem wasn't skills, it wasn't gear, it was chaos. I was trying to force power into a build designed to flow, to ripple, to pulse. Flame Whip wasn't meant to be a frantic shotgun blast of spells. It needed structure, it needed synergy, it needed the right catalyst. The Warlock's path wasn't brute force, it was precision, it was control. It was time to abandon the minions, the clutter, the chaos, and rebuild from the ground up. If the world wanted a Warlock of control, I'd give it one worth fearing. So I trained. Malatros taught me how I could scale my flame whip damage through the arts of ignition, how I could call upon the ancient overload power granting more damage than flame whips, how I could hit my enemies with critical strikes by inflicting them with acid skin, making it more lethal the more poison damage I had. And to embrace this power, I gave up my ability to leech life, converted it into sixfold destruction. I trained my flame whips to lash out faster, and how they could automatically curse and shred enemies' fire resistance with every strike. And together we forged gear that Malatros poured his last spark of life into. Raw, primordial, legendary. Flame Whip would rise again, and this time properly. In the next battle we didn't advance, we erupted. The ground beneath us split under the weight of the power Malatros had awakened within me. Fire tore through the darkness like a living storm, each flame whip cracking the air with ancestral fury. Ignition spread across the battlefield like wildfire, consuming everything it touched. I felt the old warlock fear slip away, replaced by something sharper, something absolute. Where chaos once ruled, now there was harmony, a symphony of fire and precision. The evil of Eterra had no time to comprehend. No breath to retreat, only a final moment of awe before they were reduced to ash. We climbed higher and higher corruption, shade after shade fell. We defeated the Dark Lord himself, Aberoth, and cleansed the world of malice once and for all. And for the first time, I didn't obey the flames. The flames obeyed me. We are now sitting at over 1,000 corruption, having fulfilled our destiny. But we want our legacy to live on. Are you the chosen one? If you want early access to the final build guide video showing on the screen and all my other videos coming up, make sure to click the join button below to join the channel as a Knight member. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to click the like and subscribe buttons.